This is a big one here, and we have a lot to unpack. It's going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. I'm asking that you watch till the very end to get the whole picture of what is actually happening with Veterans Guardian, and you can decide if they are defrauding the VA and defrauding veterans. That part really matters there, while making millions and millions of dollars. So we're going to do two things. All right. First, we're going to read this I'm going to read one paragraph here in this article. And then most importantly, we're going to look at this case filing because it is a big one. Okay. I've already underlined what we're going to highlight here. So going back to the article, court permits, this is September 11th. Just happened. Okay. Court permits whistleblower lawsuit alleging nationwide fraud by Veterans Guardian and 3 individuals to proceed. They tried to get it dismissed. Judge was like, nope, we're going to court. All right. Notably, the court rejected the defendant's attempt to dismiss the whistleblower's conspiracy claims. The whistleblower, a former Veterans Guardian employee, alleges that in the course of preparing disability applications and submitting them to the VA on the veteran client's behalf, that's weird, Veterans Guardian, an unaccredited for-profit company, fraudulently and without any reasonable basis, routinely assigns new veteran clients a mental illness, typically depression or PTSD, in order to inflate their disability level. Defendants then manipulate the veteran-specific information contained in the various forms required for submission. It's only going to get worse from here. To the VA to finally ensure that the veteran can achieve 100% disability rating or as close to that as possible. Why? Because they charge on future benefits. Hello, charging on future benefits is a red flag. It's got to be capped. Furthermore, the whistleblower claims that individuals at Dr. Villarosa's psychology practice lack the professional credentials required under applicable law to conduct psychological evaluations of the veterans, but nevertheless conduct them. Okay, there's a lot there. So I went ahead, did some digging, found the case, made some highlights, and this is Leslie Corico, okay, the United States of America, plaintiffs, Veterans Guardian Consulting, and these are the owners, okay. Scott Greenbolt, William Taylor's another person, and then Villarosa is a psychologist that that paragraph was talking about. I'm going to scroll all the way down to findings here. Wait till we big red marks. Okay. This is the synopsis. After speaking with the veteran for several minutes, the claims strategist, who generally had no background in diagnosing mental illness, would decide which diagnosis the veteran should be given. Virtually every veteran, that's the part that matters, was designated as either depressed or suffering from PTSD. During the initial call, the veteran would be asked to provide the company with a copy of the correspondence from the VA setting forth their original diagnosis and level of disability. Occasionally, a veteran would object to being classified as having a mental disorder. In those instances, defendant Greenblatt would give the intake person a canned pitch to make the veteran convince him or her to be designated as suffering from mental illness. At the outset, document control specialist with Veterans Guardian would write up a summary about the veteran and send that write-up directly to Dr. Villarosa. Okay, now we're getting somewhere because this guy, it ain't looking too hot. Dr. Villarosa and his associates were the only clinicians that Veterans Guardian used. There's a red flag whenever a claim company partners with a specific Nexus letter mill. All right. Bad news bears. Bad news bears all around. Something to think about. right? It's the ingredients for fraud to take place. One of Dr. Villarosa's colleagues, Ross Whitmore, conducted veteran interviews and falsely held himself out to veterans as a psychologist. Hello, that's weird. Veterans Guardian shortly after two individuals in the employ of Dr. Villarosa quit his practice, one of them was Whitmore, this guy. All right. Veterans Guardian instituted an internal program to prepare veterans for their remote session with a psychologist. Dr. Villarosa helped conceive of the idea of having Veterans Guardian prep veterans for the session. They would direct the veteran to look tired and shabby during the interview. Veterans were advised not to shave and to use a cane or a wheelchair if they had one. They were directed to use certain buzzwords or phrases in the course of responding to questions such as depressed, sad, and no motivation. They were also advised not to characterize their family history or dynamics as contributing to their depression or mental illness. The reason why the cane and wheelchair matters because they're looking at depression, mental health, secondary to chronic pain. That's a key there, okay? It's all going to blow up. I don't think Veterans Guardian is sitting pretty at all. In fact, if I was them, I'd be sweating pretty hard. All right. When diagnosis and describing depressive disorder due to chronic pain syndrome with depressive features. Hello, mental health secondary to chronic pain. Depression was caused by injuries suffered by his or her military experience. Got it. An assistant to Dr. Villarosa would auto-populate much of the information contained in the mental health form. Auto-populate. Section 3 of the mental health form lists 31 different symptoms, which the psychologist is called upon to checkmark if applicable. In the case of Veterans Guardian's clients, the entire checklist was auto-populated with check marks, and the exact same check marks were entered for every patient. Okay? Every patient, not some. They were auto-populated for every patient. Now, you might say, why is that? Well, because if a veteran, the higher rating a veteran achieves through Veterans Guardian, the more money that Veterans Guardian can charge the veteran. Duh. All right. It was Dr. Villarosa who was primarily responsible for the disability level assigned to the veteran attributable to his or her psychological illness. That level was always, not sometimes, not most of the time, always 50% or more. For every veteran that went through Veterans Guardian. It seems like it's not the veteran symptoms, rather something else. That's the issue. Achievable even when its client's case was weak. The form was usually auto-signed by Dr. Villarosa, and this occurred even when another individual had conducted the exam. Dr. Villarosa's role in Veterans Guardian's fraudulent practices did not stop there. Oh, it gets better. During relator's tenure, this is the former employee, a veteran's application for increased disability benefits was denied by the VA, apparently because the Global Assessment of Function, GAF score, a part of the veteran's application indicating his level of disability assigned by the physician, was too low and thus inconsistent with the remainder of the application. And this denial, Dr. Villarosa, Greenblatt, and Relator participated in a conference call in which they discussed how denials based on GAF score inconsistency could be avoided in the future. Listen to this. This is very important. Villarosa and Greenblatt decided that henceforth, the GAF score on an application would no longer be made low enough to place the applicant in the serious symptoms category, thus avoiding VA scrutiny. The strategy was to place the veteran in moderate category of disability, regardless of the veteran's actual ability to function per the GAF score system. Wow. For instance, in or around May of 2019, one veteran, SL, refused to sign off on the application package because it contained too many errors and untrue statements. Employees were instructed by Fred Phillips and Terry Mundy on how to lift a signature. Listen, wild. Employees were instructed by Fred Phillips and Terry Mundy on how to lift a signature from another document and apply it to the application. For instance, they typically utilized this method of forgery if a disability application was being appealed. The company would scramble to file the appeal paperwork, attach the mental health form, and transfer the client's signature from the original application to the appeal, and then fax the package to the VA. The application for disability benefits submitted by defendants to the VA makes no mention of veterans guardian whatsoever. Duh, they don't want to be on the hook. They're about to. The company's in-house team would carefully prep the veteran on what to say, how to look, and how to act during the meeting with the VA health provider in order to achieve a favorable decision. This is for C&P exams. And I think that was the only thing we highlighted. Yeah, and then there are the questionnaires. Dude. When someone says claim shark, I think of a company who has a partnership with a Nexus letter provider, company specific, right? Hey, use this company. We have medical on our staff. We have medical personnel on our staff, or that we are affiliated with. Okay. 1, red flag. 2, red flag. Charging on future benefits. Hey, we're going to charge 5 times, 6 times, 4 times the increase, depending on what rating you get. So therefore, if you get the higher rating you get, the more money that I can charge. Those are ingredients for fraud to take place, right? That you're incentivized to get the veteran the highest rating by any means possible, even if fraud is on the table. I'm no legal person, okay? I'm not like the biggest fan of Veterans Guardian. They do good, but fraud is fraud, okay? And I'm curious if this, depending on the outcome of what this is, what's going to happen to the veterans who fall in the category of saying, hey, all these veterans have the same symptoms to depression secondary to chronic pain. Wow. Why is that? And I don't think it's going to be good. All right. At some point, this is going to blow up. And I don't think Veterans Guardian is going to be the only people on the hook. Now, by no means are they guilty, right? You're innocent till proven guilty. And so this is going to go to court, which is what we saw here, right? Notably, the court rejected the defendant's attempt to dismiss the whistleblower's conspiracy claims. So it's going. Yeah, man. Let me know your thoughts down below. That's a big one. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. Peace.